Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the S2S Sportscast, where it's your boys, Will and Wudi, and we here to break it on down from the ringside, the courtside, the sidelines, and for them sports they play outdoors, we outside. It's the S2S Sportscast. That's how we ride. So, again, we're going to keep with the theme and start off with the sidelines. We are 7 weeks into the NFL season, and we're almost halfway through, and a lot of the story is continuing to define itself. By this point, you pretty much know who's who. You know teams that aren't good. You know teams that don't really have a playoff shot, and you know who the contenders are. So now that you can tell who's real and who's fake, the seats begin to get hot. So let's talk about some of the coaches who are really sitting on some toasted buns right now. I can start off with one particular coach who I don't think he has a shot to coach in the NFL next year. Now, there's a lot of new faces and new places right now. So regardless of how some teams are playing, I don't think there's a lot of hot seats out there for coaches. But two names come to mind, and I'll just talk about one, and then we'll see what you say, Wudi. But Mr. Nagy from the Chicago Bears, I don't think he has a chance no matter what happens. Unless the Bears have some miracle turnaround. Hey, I said it. Justin Fields is not ready to play. I said they should sit him all year. I said he's not ready to read a defense, and he should take his time, figure it out from the sideline because he is talented. But what happens now when you put him out there and he has bad game after bad game? He starts to get rattled, and sometimes some players don't come back from that. Now, I'm not doubting Justin Fields, but the way Nagy is handling this situation is absolutely horrible. So you have a quarterback out there who isn't really able, right? He's not going to make all the reads, but you don't give him any easy reads. Now, I want to bring to the forefront, let's talk about Sean McVay. Yes, this is a completely different team, but Sean McVay is a good coach because he made Jared Goff was in the MVP conversation 1 year with him because he tailored the offense around what Jared Goff is able to do well. And he continued to mix things up. He never went outside of that. He wanted to go deep more. So eventually when the time came, he's like, you know what? You got to get rid of Jared Goff and get somebody in who can actually go deep more. But you would have never known what Jared Goff wasn't good at because McVay made a game plan that his quarterback can execute. And you do not get that from Bill Nagy with the Chicago Bears. So if there's anybody whose seat is hot and, like I said, the buns are toasty, it is Mr. Nagy in the Chicago, in the Windy City.
I don't want to show you my notes here, but literally the first line on my page, my first line is Matt Nagy, number one by far.
I don't know why I said Bill Nagy twice.
Oh, you said Bill?
I said Bill Nagy. Bill Nagy, I used to work with you, and I'm sitting here talking about you, right? Instead of Matt Nagy. So Bill Nagy, if you are watching the S2S Sportscast, my bad. Matt Nagy, if you're watching the S2S Sportscast, which you probably will be next year because you ain't gonna have nothing to do on Sunday next year. But Matt Nagy, my bad.
Yeah, no, I didn't even catch that. So who knows if our viewers did, but I think he's number one by far. Of all the teams that you could, or all the coaches you could mention, I feel like there are deficiencies, like in their roster. And I'm not saying that the Bears have the best roster in the NFL, but this is a playoff team. This was a team that last year people were saying underperformed. And Matt Nagy was saying that they underperformed. They were in the playoffs, and they're saying, "No, you know what? We can do better. Let's get rid of Trubisky, and I'll show you better." And this was Nagy's chance, right? He got rid of Trubisky, and he got two, not one, but two quarterbacks of his choosing to run that offense, and both of them failed miserably. So and failed miserably doesn't even begin to describe what's going on with Justin Fields. I will say, I always give credit where credit is due. This man, Will Gaddy Jr., he said it. He said it from day one. He said it on day 36. He's saying it right now on day 249. Justin Fields was not ready, and he's still not ready. He won't be ready this year. He was kind of bullied into starting him, and now it's just like I said, he got two quarterbacks of his choosing, couldn't do it. Matt Nagy's number one by far. Urban Meyer, Will was saying, right? Maybe he won't be here, through the full season. Right? Like his seat was that hot for a little bit. I think it's cooled down. A miracle win in London, tends to, ending a 20-game losing streak, right? Tends to kind of get the heat off you. Then John Gruden gets the heat on him. So, Urban's kind of been able to go back into the shadows, but his team is still really bad. They definitely have a bad roster, but I don't think it's that bad. And he has definitely not done Trevor Lawrence any favors down in Jacksonville. So I would have to separate those two from the bunch, but definitely Matt Nagy. He has a talent on his roster, and he's
yeah.
He's
Listen,
fine.
they got a nice find with Khalil Herbert, man. Khalil Herbert can actually run the football. Pretty much one of the only running backs to top 80 yards against the Bucks in multiple weeks. So all they got to do is get the ball in the air and down the field, and you're not giving Justin Fields the type of reads, that you're not running him on bootlegs. Like, you're not giving him easy stuff that coaches do for rookie quarterbacks. Nagy is not doing, right? And Justin's holding the ball. He's getting sacked. He's just not ready, right? But Matt Nagy's not ready either. I should just keep calling him Bill, because maybe I should just do that. But what you said about Urban Meyer is exactly my point. They're the only two coaches who I think are on the toasted buns list right now, because Urban Meyer, his seat was hot. Isn't it funny how you get one win, right? Literally, we haven't heard Urban Meyer's name in almost 2 weeks, right? Ever since he, was seen with the girl, and then his team, he flew home separately, okay? After they got destroyed by the Titans, he took a separate flight home from the team. I'm sorry. When they lost to Cincy, he took a separate flight home from the team, right? And then that's when everything started, and it filtered into that loss against the Titans. His whole locker room gave up on him. They're like, wow, coach, we lose and you can't even fly home with us? This ain't college, man. And it didn't look like you were going to make it through the bye week, but you got that win. And when they say winning cures everything in the NFL, it is so true. You got that win to go into the bye week, right? Now you're going to come out this week and probably going to start a brand new losing streak. Let's just call it what it is, right? Because the play design and everything we're doing in Jacksonville, and when I say we're, I don't mean as in me affiliated with Jacksonville. Everything you're doing, right, in Jacksonville, Coach Meyer, it's not looking good at all. Now, when we talk about players, there's some players who are in a hot situation as well. And when we talk about head coaches and then you talk about players who are on a hot seat, it has to be quarterbacks. Quarterbacks get the blame just as much as coaches. In my opinion, it is not fair always, but sometimes good coaches don't have good quarterbacks, and sometimes good quarterbacks don't have good coaches. But what I can say right now is there is one player that really comes to mind. I want to talk about a few of them. But when we talk about players who are on a hot seat right now, I am sorry, Wudi. I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry. Yeah, man. I will pat you on the back if I was.
Wait.
I'm sorry, man.
All right. You know what? There'll never be a good time to say it. So just go.
Hey, look, you know what? There's a cartoon character, right? Whose head is shaped like a football. And there's an NFL player who hasn't been throwing the football well right now. We're talking about, hey, Darnold, where did you go? What happened? Is it really just Christian McCaffrey? I get Christian's a beast. You can put him in the backfield. Defense doesn't know if he's going to run a route from the backfield, right? He's almost impossible to guard, but we can't use that as an excuse because Matt Rule and Joe Brady instantly put DJ Moore in the backfield, right? But maybe that tips off the defense because if he runs routes from the backfield, you haven't ever handed him the ball. Maybe they should have done that, right? But the thing is, Darnold has been holding the ball. He hasn't been accurate. Yes, I know the Vikings game, there was a lot of drops, right? But he made a lot of mistakes too. And he didn't come back the next week on fire. I mean, the Carolina Panthers have lost 4 straight. And maybe Darnold's not their guy. That's what's proving right now. They benched Darnold for PJ Walker, who went 3 for 14. Like he was Russell Westbrook out there, right? He went 3 for 14. Only for the coaches to say, well, Darnold's still our starting quarterback for this season, right? Look, it's looking really bad. Maybe Matt Rule should have been on our list of last week, but I don't think they're going to give up on him that fast. It's only his second season. But one of the players who are on the hot seat on the toasted buns list is definitely your man's Sam. Hey, Darnold, where'd you go?
Fun fact: the Carolina Panthers receivers lead the NFL in drop passes, but no, I'm not going
to change the narrative. I'm
not saying that Sam has been incredible or that he's been great. Unfortunately, he's been dealt a bad hand. And what you actually said before about Justin Fields, about how your confidence can get shaken early due to bad coaching and horrible game planning, and how some players can never get out of it. It is apparent that may be where Sam Darnold is at, because he was a talented kid, and the Sam Darnold that we saw his rookie year disappeared after he got mono. I don't know, maybe the mono actually killed him, and now this is a replacement Sam Darnold. This is a robot that's just not good enough. His batteries start messing up. He looked good, but what happened? What was the change? The easy answer is McCaffrey, but protection wasn't as good. He got a couple bad drops, and now his confidence is off. He doesn't have that unshakable confidence. He's actually very easily shaken. And I think that's the thing there. But no excuses though. There is no doubt. I say Matt Nagy, number 1 coach by far. I don't think there's another QB, near Sam in the stratosphere. I also don't think there's another QB who kind of had the host, right? Because we could say he was traded for Teddy, right? So Teddy is kind of in a similar scenario, but I don't think anyone saw Teddy in Denver and said, oh, okay, now, Denver might actually be set, at QB. But people were saying that about Sam. Sam he's still 23. He will always be younger than, Joe Burrow, who is, he's a sophomore, right? So, it's a crazy situation. They picked up his 5th-year option. It was an investment for the future. They thought they were, they had their guy, so that's why the disappointment is there, and it's much larger than a Teddy. His seat is hot, but let me bring it to someone else. All right, I can't. It's hurting me to even bring this up. The pain has been unbearable. But let me tell you something. All right, because Franklin Delano Roosevelt, right? He is famous, right, for being one of the greatest presidents, right? He created so many new jobs, right? He brought us out of the Great Depression by creating so many new jobs for Americans. But let me tell you something right here. Bill Belichick has gotten more people jobs than FDR. This man, his coaching tree, people who just, I don't even know, have been seen in a picture with Bill Belichick get jobs. I don't get it. Jimmy G, just for being drafted by Belichick and apparently being the heir apparent to Tom Brady. People actually believed that. They believe that. And San Francisco believed it so much that they gave him, an unproven quarterback that had started 7 games, a max deal in the NFL and said, "This is our guy."
Wow.
And I'm telling you, I was pulling out my hair, these long strands, pulling them all out. I was like, "What are you guys doing?" Then I realized, I got my own problems, right? I was a Jets fan, still am. I got my own problems. But here they are. And don't tell me, do not look at me and say, "Well, Mr. Wudi, they made it to the Super Bowl. Jimmy G has to be." The man was attempting 12 throws a game. The dude, he was getting carried by Raheem Mostert, by Tevin Coleman. They had Matt Breida, the 3-headed running back. The man, he was not doing anything. Kittle, you throw 5 yards to George Kittle. Kittle does the rest, getting 200 yards a game. The man is not good. He's never been good. And right now, right here, they're seeing it. And Kyle Shanahan, it's funny. We talked about Sean McVay and Jared Goff and how Sean McVay did as much as he possibly could to hide Jared Goff's inefficiencies, right? But eventually, push comes to shove. And where's Jared now? He's in Detroit. Jimmy, your time is up. You were a very similar situation. Overpaid just like Jared Goff. I actually think he is less talented than Jared Goff. And here we are. Now, Trae Young, we don't know if he's ready, but ready or not, here he's about to come through, because Jimmy G is not that guy. And I think Kyle Shanahan, who is a great coach, inarguable, he's a great coach, he's had enough. Jimmy G has the second hottest seat of all QBs in the NFL.
That is a very good pick. And I'm out here calling Matt Nagy, Bill Nagy, and you out here calling Trey Lance, Trae Young. We side to side with the fumbles right now, for sure. And let's talk about Jimmy G, because you nailed it. The reason why Raheem Mostert cannot stay healthy and them knees keep crashing down is because he did do the most amazing carry job. He had to carry Jimmy G and that contract, right, in the Super Bowl. And I don't think Raheem Mostert is going to come back from it right now. Jimmy G is definitely probably an upper echelon backup quarterback. He's pretty good. And yes, you were in a system with Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick, and you looked like you could take over for Tom Brady. They couldn't keep you forever because they wanted to keep Tom. They made the decision to keep Tom and let you go, and then Tom left, and now they're in a better situation because they got Mac Jones. And the 49ers probably would be in a better situation if they had taken Mac Jones, because I'll tell you what, I like Trey Lance, but And it's a shame that he got injured, but when he also is not ready, you don't just go from playing not even like one full year at North Dakota State to the NFL and just kill it. You do have an elite arm and you're a good runner, but there's a reason why they made you run the ball 16 times in your first start, because you are not ready to read the defense, right? And Jimmy G is literally just there for you to learn what you got to learn so you can get going next year. So they're doing the right thing that the Bears weren't doing or aren't doing. And I do think that there's zero chance Jimmy G starts next year. It's going to be the Trey Lance show in 2022, and they're going to be ready to go. So that is definitely a hot seat for a player. And you know what? That seat may be the hottest seat. Is really debatable, right? I mean, it's really debatable which seat is hotter. But you did also mention Teddy Bridgewater. Of course, this is a stopgap move. I still think that Aaron Rodgers' ultimate destination next year is going to be in Denver. That's why I think that he's talking trash to the Chicago Bears, saying I've always owned you, because I think he's going to be in the AFC next year, and that is going to literally be the wild, wild west when you have Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers, and Patrick Mahomes in the same division with Derek Carr. Derek Carr doesn't look like David Carr compared to those names. Like, it's they're going to have to do something else. But yeah, so I think Teddy Bridgewater, you had a chance last week to, hey, you guys lost 3 straight. Let's get a win against the wounded Browns. But all you did was dink and dunk all over the field. I mean, that was the most dinking and dunking I've seen in a lot. That was Chad Pennington-esque, That was just that was not a great game for your boys. But the last person.
Oh yeah, okay. You were about to, because I have one other person.
I got one more person too, right?
All right. You go, or should I go? You should go.
No, you go. Because you know what? This is pretty much my person may take us into the next topic.
Okay. My person definitely. Well, actually, he might, but I don't think so. My person,
the same person.
No, it's not, because this person, his seat is actually not hot. It's so weird. Like, I feel like he literally might be the most almost like confusing / polarizing person in the entire NFL. But like, I feel like we came into the season being like, oh, his seat's hot, and then every once in a while, like, I don't know, like, so let's just talk about him. His debut, he was on fire. Team was, we had a legendary quarterback who was struggling. They put him in. He comes in, kills it, has a pretty decent, year, decent stats. But oh my God, the fumbles. It's just unbelievable. Sophomore year, he has some flashes, but the fumbles, the turnovers, unbelievable. Now, I don't, who is giving him these nicknames? I don't understand. But right now, the most current one is Daniel Beckham Jr. This man, Daniel Jones.
Oh my God!
Like, is he good? So like, I feel like he's not. I feel like he's really not. But like, he's a decent athlete. Like, he does have burners sometimes. And that was a good catch. Like, you can't, like, it was a good catch. He took the hit. He has burners, but then he like stumbles upon himself. Like, when he's making that big run against the Eagles, like, I feel like he is such a walking highlight and low light. I've never seen something like that where just simultaneously can be such a highlight and such a low light all at the same time. There was one time he out here drop back scanning the field, and Jamal Adams literally just takes the ball out of his hands for a touchdown. Like that, like doesn't even just says, "Let me take this." And just, highlight and low light. I don't.
Do you realize this is definitely a player that I wanted to talk about? I'm so glad you brought him up. This wasn't the same player that I was going to mention, but this is a better player right here. Danny Dimes, right? Daniel Beckham Jr. Why are all of your highlights of things that don't involve playing quarterback? Like, yeah, you run for a 76-yard touchdown. You're not a running back. I mean, that's good if Lamar Jackson does it, because Lamar Jackson is actually pretty good at playing quarterback too, right? Now you got this one-handed catch, and then you fall down, and it's so overrated because it's not like you caught it, came down, and made a play. Like, it was a good catch for a quarterback. I'm not sure how many quarterbacks can do that, right? But now you're getting nicknames as New York. Your stock is rising. Look at Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham made the catch with 2 fingers. That's like the last highlight of his career. Like, it doesn't even look like he's a decent receiver anymore. It's just New York is going to blow you up when you do something good. And Danny Dimes, man. Wudi, you literally just said he dropped back, scanned the field, and Jamal Adams was just like, oh, give me this. I'll take this football. I'm out. Like, when he has to play quarterback, it's not a good situation. And I do think that after this season, granted, they're coming off of a big win, right? A 25-3 win over the Panthers. Whew. I really thought that game was going to end 5-3, and that would have been one of the first things I wanted to talk about on today's sportscast, because that would have been like a baseball score. Don't know if I ever seen a game 5-3 that long into it, right? And it was pathetic, but I don't know how the New York Giants can like roll with you as their guy. Gettleman said when he saw you, he was in love. He called it full-blown love, right? Somebody need to get Gettleman, right? Gettleman need to get got, because if you still loving this man at this point, man, something wrong with you, Mr. Gettleman. Gettleman, you gotta go, and you can take your lovely quarterback with you too, man. Because Daniel Jones ain't it, man. You know what? I think he's actually talented, but it's something about him. He is truly like he's got the whole Eli persona where Eli look like you don't know what's happening, but Eli will like throw 5 touchdowns on you, right? He may throw 5 interceptions the next week, but Eli go from this to turning it on, right? He turned it on. He got the turn on in him, right? I'm a Cowboys fan. Eli had all his bad games outside of playing the Cowboys. Against us, dominated, right? Daniel Jones doesn't have that. He threw for 400 yards, and then he went back to being Daniel Jones, right? Like, he had his 400-yard game. It's like, okay, Danny Dimes. People picked him up off the waiver wire. They dropped him that fast now. Now he's back. He's back. So let's talk about, because the Giants kind of, with that win, they're kind of changing the narrative of their season. It was looking like New York isn't going to be able to win any football games outside of the only win that they have. But let's talk about who is going to end the season with the worst record, and then who's going to end the season with the best record. There's one quarterback that I wanted to put on the hot seat. He is on a pretty hot seat right now, but his team is just not working out, man. I did say that this team has some grit, because for some reason, for 3 quarters, they're pretty much in every game. It's like, are they going to pull it out? But in that 4th quarter, man, they just get ripped apart, It's just like they literally, like, they're all right. The team is the Detroit Lions, man. And if you think they're going to win, or if they got you thinking they're going to win, they're literally lying, because like they're 0-7 right now, and they're 0-7. And when I look at the rest of their schedule, it's hard to find a win. Coach Campbell said he's going to take hunks out of kneecaps, and he's going to do this and he's going to do that. And I get it. The team is fighting. This week he's kicking onside. He's doing goofy stuff because he's trying to get a win. Like, they are now desperate and thirsty for a win. And they're going to – here's the fact. Jared Goff, you know what? They might get a win this week against the Eagles. That would be crazy. Let's talk about why. Jared Goff before Sean McVay was 0-7, right? After Sean McVay, he's 0-7 again. He got his first win after his first 7 losses before McVay. Can he get his first win after his first 7 losses without McVay? Probably not. Only in a fairy tale that would probably happen, right? The Detroit Lions are not playing well, and this may be a year where they may be the only team to go winless twice. They're the only team to go winless, but they may do this twice. This is not a good year for the Detroit Lions, and I do think that they are going to finish the year with the worst record. I do think so.
I have them. They are unfortunately number 1, or I guess number 32, however you want to look at it, on my list as well. They are 0-7, but they are a good team. They have grit. Like you said, they have heart. They are competing. It's not a complete cluster like the other 2 teams I'm going to mention in this bottom 3. I actually think, I don't want to say they should hold their head up high, but I don't think they should be sunk as low as some of the fans are holding their heads. And honestly, if you look at the aggregate of all the teams' records, like for the remainder of the year versus what they've done so far in the first half, the Lions' schedule for the second half of the year is the 9th hardest in the entire league. So to your point, Will, it is going to be really tough. Now, the next 2 teams we're going to talk about have actually the 4th and the 8th easiest schedules based on those aggregates. But with those teams, I just see dysfunction. I see disorganization. I just see rosters that are completely incomplete. They're incomplete. And it's possible that the Detroit, heart gets them 2 wins. That is possible. Could get them 3. These 2 teams, I'm like, maybe 1 more win. One of them is Urban Meyer's Jacksonville Jaguars. They have the 8th easiest schedule. And
Mike Tyson version.
The 4th easiest schedule belongs to this horrendous, just garbage team. They are the New York Jets. I have a bone to pick with Joe Douglas. I said it. Any of my people who follow me on Twitter, followers, I guess is that word. I'm having a whole bunch of brain farts. So I'm just so upset thinking about these Jets right now. Joe Douglas, they say, we're real confident in our 3 QBs. Everyone is saying, what are you doing? Why do you have a quarterback with there's no person in the quarterback room, including the coach, that has NFL quarterbacking experience? How is your QB going to learn? This is your franchise guy, 2nd overall pick, highest drafted QB. How is he supposed to learn when no person that has experiences around him? Oh, yeah, we're good. Then Zach goes down. Now we're giving up picks for Joe Flacco, who was our backup last year. What?
What was the point, right?
What? So, are you guys just that foolish in thinking for some reason that Zach Wilson, who was literally injured in college 2 years ago, would just magically never, ever get hurt in the NFL? You didn't need a backup. You would never have to worry about playing Mike White. That's just stupid. It's stupid. And the team is in disarray. I would not be surprised if they won one other game, even with this easy schedule. Same thing with the Jags. They're just in disarray. So it's not all on the line. I think those 3 are going to be picking in the top 3 of this year's NFL draft.
Yeah, man. See, the strength of schedule point, I know it takes into consideration records and all of this, but when you're just not a good team, your schedule's not easy. It doesn't matter what the other teams are doing. Like you are not a good team. I mean, that's a really good point. Wudi 3. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been keeping up with Woody's 3 is a number of wins that the Jets may not get to, right? Wudi can get the 3 points. The Jets may not get to 3 wins. It looked pretty disastrous last week, and it definitely is a management problem. When you have a rookie quarterback, you surround that quarterback with a vet. I've never seen it in the NFL that we're going to have a rookie quarterback. And this isn't a rookie quarterback from the SEC like Mac Jones, who has played in some big time football games, right? This isn't a rookie quarterback like Trevor Lawrence, who at Clemson played in some big football games. This is Zach Wilson from BYU, who hasn't played in big time games. He put up some big time numbers, right? But he hasn't played in the bright lights. And you bring him to New York City, and you do not bring in a veteran quarterback to show him the ropes. Now, I always got to fit Dak Prescott into the conversation, right?
Oh,
listen, real quick.
I don't think come on. I'm hurting already. The last thing I need.
One of the biggest attributes to Dak Prescott was when they brought in John Kitna just to show him the ropes, right? Because obviously Tony Romo was a big attribute to Dak's rookie season. He would not have done that well without Romo being there helping him the entire way, right? But then when Romo was out of the building, Dak was looking a little average. So they brought in John Kitna, who helped him get that release faster, helped him with his mechanics, right? Helped him out tremendously. Even Mark Sanchez helped Dak out. All of these veteran resources helped Dak. And look at him today. All right, that's enough about Dak, right? Let's talk about Zach. They haven't given Zach anything. And I may not be a Jets fan, but I absolutely hope next year they do better by that man. Because you turn the franchise over to him. He's actually a really good guy. He can be a leader of men, right? His teammates do believe in him, but he's not ready right now. And he doesn't know how to prepare because nobody in the building can help him get prepared. So he's trying to do too much with his arm talent, and he's learning the hard way. And now he's a little dinged up for a couple weeks. Oh, and now you go get Joe Flacco. Yeah, I wanted to say the Jets are going to finish with the worst record. But it's really hard to see a win for the Detroit Lions. I do think Detroit is going to get a win. If I had to pick a game, I would think they might surprise and beat Atlanta at the end of the year. Because Atlanta is just that type of team where it would be so ATL for them to just lose to the Lions in the football season. Speaking of ATL, right? We're not changing subjects, but just got to shout out the Atlanta Braves in the World Series, right? So that's our little outside moment on the Side to Side Sportscast right now, right? Shout out to the Braves. They may do that thing, right? But let's talk about some of the teams now who may finish with the best record in the NFL. And I don't know about you, Wudi. I was looking through the schedules. There's some good teams out there, man. And, the team that is so underrated, I just want to bring this up. This isn't the team that I think is going to finish with the best record. But right now, they are at top of the AFC. And they come out of that division that you and CJ laughed at me when I said it's a tough division. This is the only division in football right now where every team is at least 500, right? We're talking about the AFC North and the Cincinnati Bengals with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase looking like the NFL's next elite dynamic duo. Jamar Chase is looking like Randy Moss, the only receiver in NFL history to have over 700 yards throughout his first 7 games. That is he's on pace for 1,800 yards, right? But that's not even my pick. I just needed to put that out there real quick. I'm going to have to say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers may literally finish the season 16-1 or 15-2. If you look at the rest of their schedule, I think they may have lost to the team that is probably going to give them the hardest time, the Rams. There's other teams out there that have, that are the Cardinals. Like the Cardinals are currently undefeated, but I don't think that's going to keep. I think towards the end of the season, they're going to have a little string of some losses. Still going to be a great team in the playoff picture, but I can see late in the year they might start taking some lumps. I don't see that with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, you know, listen, they are rolling, man. They're just rolling. They've got injuries to the secondary, and they just keep rolling. They bring somebody else in, and they just that front seven is elite. Like it may be legendary elite. It is hard to get stuff going against that front seven. It is very hard. And Tom Brady may be playing the best football of his career, and he's 44 years old. He just so confident, so poised. It's like he just gets more relaxed every year. Like you hear him after the game, he's like, I'm not going to stop playing football until it's just no longer a burning desire in my heart. Like when you talking like that, man, and you drop back in the pocket, you ain't worried about these dudes trying to sack you. You're like, you know what, man, I love this game. I'm in the pocket, and there's my guy. Get him the football. You go. Right. And you want to talk about Dak got all these receivers. I don't ever hear you talk about Tom Brady. Tom Brady, you got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Bryant, right? And you got Leonard Fournette, who is now finally establishing himself in the NFL. And you got a great offensive line. It's just, you're strong in the trenches. I really don't see Tampa Bay losing more. Now, I was wrong about Kansas City. I mean, I gotta eat crow on Kansas City because I said they was going to finish the year with 3 losses max, right? But after that beat down Tennessee, and I gotta eat crow on Tennessee too. I called them fake. I called them pretenders, and then they just bust Kansas City to where you like, man, who is Tennessee? But I don't think I'm wrong about Tampa Bay. I think they're going to finish the year with 2 losses max.
Well, the fumbles continue because you called AB Antonio Bryant.
Dang.
But it's all good. No, we're fumbling today. Yes, we are fumbling. One note about the Chiefs. Patrick is getting a lot of flack, and yeah, he hasn't been great. Or what we've seen is literally Madden numbers. So when he produces mortal numbers, right, it makes it look way worse than if Sam Darnold had those numbers. But that defense is literally at the bottom of the league in almost every statistical category. They are going through a lot right now. The Titans, I actually still have my doubts. King Henry, though, might have just crept up into my top 5 for the MVP. I mean, the man, he's literally. I'm not sure if I've ever called somebody king like that before, but I feel like I have no choice but to bow down to King Henry. To answer your question
for LeBron, but anyway, go ahead, man.
Say that one more time.
No, I'm not going to repeat it. I'm not going to repeat it. It's on tape. Go ahead. To answer what question?
Well, it looks like you've been stealing my notes about these schedules because clearly Tampa Bay is at the number 1. Pretty much everything that you said, so I'm not going to say it all again. Shout out to Todd Bowles, lackluster head coach, incredible defensive coordinator, and Tom Brady. He is a GOAT. 44 years old, 44 years strong. The man still is out here scrambling for first downs every once in a while. I love it. Every single time I see him, it's like, I don't know. It gives me the same feeling as like when I see my grandfather across the street. Like, it's like, oh, you can still do it. Do you need my, oh, no, you still, all right, you can do it. All right. God bless. And that's literally what Tom Brady is doing. He does have weapons. And using that strength of schedule, the Cardinals are 7-0, and based on that same list of aggregate records that I was going by before, the Cardinals are the 10th easiest, and they're 7-0. You can find losses in there, but I would really be surprised if they lost more than 3 games, especially with what Will Gaddy always says about Kyler's endurance. I mean, he's not taking hits. I mean, the sky's the limit for that team. I mean, that team is just too good. I think a sleeper, a dark horse pick, and this team has the 6th easiest record, and they currently only have 2 losses, even though their last loss was bad. It was bad. Chargers, Justin Herbert and the boys. I mean, they're a very good team. We've seen it. They're just trying to still find their way. I mean, Staley is still trying to find his footing as a coach, but I mean, their record is easy. Their team is talented. They could definitely find themselves with the NFL's best record, depending how things go. So I would definitely not sleep on them. But yes, my guess would really be Tampa Bay.
Yeah, man. It does look like Tampa is in a good position to really get. I mean, they last year, once they got clicking, they didn't lose again. I think they won. They ended the year on an 11-game winning streak, and this year they started off rolling. They got lumped by the LA Rams, and sometimes that's what you need. Now they're back. They're back in action. And it's looking like they are going to end this season strong. And man, I don't want to see Tom Brady get 8 Super Bowl rings. I really don't. So, we'll see what happens. But let's go to the court side real quick, because the NBA just announced its all-time 75 players. And I don't know how you feel about the list, Wudi, but I like the list. But there's a couple things on the list that I cannot accept. And it bothers me to no end, right? Literally, it really bothers me, because there's 2 particular names on the top 75 list that I just feel that maybe when we get 25 years later, they would have been on a top 100 list, but they are not on. They should not currently be on this list. And that would have to be Mr. Anthony Davis and Mr. Damian Lillard. 2 immensely talented players. So I am not trying to knock their individual, talent itself. It's just, as far as accolades, right? Let's just compare Anthony Davis to Dwight Howard. Anthony Davis, started his career in 2012. He's about 9 years into the league. He's never played 80 games. In fact, he's only played over 67 games, 68 games twice in his career. Twice in his career, right? You're talking about Dwight Howard, who is a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. Started out his career with, over a decade of averaging double-doubles. Took a team to the NBA Finals. He's been a journeyman lately, right? But when he was in Orlando, he actually took a team to the Finals. He was the best player on that team. They went to the Finals, right? The resumes don't stack up. There's got to be something. Why? I don't understand the voting behind that. There's no reason Anthony Davis should be ranked top 75 all time over Dwight Howard. Now, my second player, Wudi, and this one really hurts me because he's one of my favorite players in the league, right? But Damian Lillard, Damian Lillard's a 6-time All-Star. ... That's literally all he's done in his career. We can talk about, oh, he didn't have help, he didn't have this. It doesn't matter, right? AI didn't have an elite team, won an MVP, right? Took a team to the finals, right? AI deserves to be in the NBA's top 25. How do you explain Damian Lillard in the 75 over my man, Klay Thompson? How do you explain that? How do you explain Damian Lillard over Klay Thompson? You know, Klay Thompson is a 3-time NBA champion, you know, and he's a 5-time All-Star. But most importantly, he is already one of the top 3 3-point shooters of all time. Of all time. He is one of the greatest shooters in the NBA history. And Damian Lillard makes the list over him. These are just 2 things. There's more players that I feel are, you know, worthy. But these are 2 comparisons that I ain't trying to sound dramatic, but I actually lost some sleep over it. When the list came out, I was ready. You know, when we'll never know why Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard got into a scuffle on the sideline, but I think it was because of the list. I think it was because of the list, man. I think Dwight was a little bit in his feelings, right? And, you know, the Lakers weren't playing well. Anthony Davis may not have hustled to a loose ball, and Dwight probably said, and they put you on the list over me. Because Anthony Davis came to the sideline hot. What you say? What? And then as soon as Dwight got up, Anthony Davis put hands on him. When do you put hands on your teammate? Anthony Davis, you know you don't belong on this list, bro. You know you don't belong on this list.
All right, so we're gonna disagree, just like the voters clearly disagree with that opinion, with both of those opinions. Klay Thompson is literally my number 1 favorite player in the league. So I'm very upset that you're making me say things that aren't compliments. I literally just last week, just like how last week I complimented the Bengals, and then all of a sudden, you know, you're complimenting them this week. Last week I was praising Klay Thompson. Now you're praising Klay Thompson, but it's a little too much because there's no sphere, there's no world in which Klay Thompson is better than Damian Lillard, although Klay is actually literally my pick for number 1 spot-up shooter in the history of this game. Number 1. That's where I put him. That's my list. When you factor in off the dribble, then we already know, you know, how who, you know, leapfrogs him there. But I'm so excited to see him come back. And because now he is motivated. I'm so excited. Maybe after this, like you said, there will be, you know, an appearance on the 100th list. Something that I found very interesting that I did not know originally is that they did not do anything to the original 50 list from 1996. They literally just added like 25 people. So really, this list is not even like a top 75 all time. It's really top 25 of the last 25 years. And when you do it like that, then I don't know what you're shaking your head about, but when you do it like that, I actually would say, you know, Dame deserves some respect. I think he is a top 25 of the last 25 years. And I think AD is top 20. AD is we're talking about generational talents within those 2. Dwight does have some accolades, you know, so I can kind of see the case there with Dwight, but he was never, I mean, I feel like he was overrated, and he's not a better center than any of the centers in contention. Like Ben Wallace, who is not on the list, is better than Dwight Howard.
But by what? Because you can talk about like what makes Ben Wallace better than Dwight Howard.
What do you mean? Well, he's
no. What makes him better? than Dwight Howard.
See, you gotta stop asking me questions, and then when I answer them, you either interrupt or
It
re-ask.
didn't sound like you were about to answer the question.
I
But
literally said the
what
words
makes
two
Wallace?
times, and then you interrupted. 2-time NBA champion. How many times has he won Defensive Player of the Year? Ben Wallace, he had a more successful career with better rebounding numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like Ben Wallace, he had a bigger impact on the NBA. I feel like if this is an NBA 75, you're talking about impact, which is why the person that I am very upset could not make this list. My number one snub of this NBA 75. You want to talk about impactful. You want to talk about legacy. One of the longest lasting careers in the NBA. This man is an icon. He's literally an NBA icon. People who have never seen him play, which has to be really young actually, because he just recently retired, but people have never seen him play, could literally go on YouTube and search his highlights for hours and hours and hours. I'm talking about Vinsanity. Vince Carter has been one of the most consistent names for the last 20-ish years. Okay. You want to talk about, what brings in, casual viewers, the dunk, right? The dunk contest was so big with guys like Jordan, Dominique Wilkins, and Dominique just, randomly got in with this, new edition of 25-2. But, those guys, those were dunk icons. The new era, the new generation of that was VC, Vince Carter, Kobe, T-Mac got in on the fun. But Vince, and T-Mac were also complete players. They weren't just dunkers like, a Jason Richardson, They were complete players. Vince was always in the top, 10 in scoring. I feel like he was a top 10 player in the league for almost a decade, Vince Carter. And then played and continued to mentor the next generation for the next 10 years. And it is a travesty that Vince Carter is not on this list. T-Mac is number 2. That's my number 2 travesty. And, I feel like that should go without saying, but I'll say it. The man, oh my God, was he the best scorer in the NBA for the beginning of this century? I feel like he was. I
can agree with that.
You can?
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like if you put T-Mac on the Lakers and Kobe on the Magic or the Rockets, T-Mac would be a 3-time champion at least. I'm not discrediting Kobe, because when Shaq was gone, Kobe definitely led the Lakers, the 2 championships. But T-Mac, just as vicious as a scorer, may be the best scorer we've seen since Michael Jordan, to be honest with you.
So how does he like? That's what these two guys. They don't make the list. But hold on, because you got to pick your replacements. You got to pick your. So let me say my piece here. Okay,
that's good, because I was going to ask you, if they on, who's off?
All right, because I got to take 2 guys off. And honestly, you actually convinced me, because at first I was only going to take 1 guy off, and like I said, Vince Carter was my number 1, so I was gonna give Vince Carter, the spot that I took off. But you know what? Maybe I have been kind of romanticizing the career of Anthony Davis a little bit. He has been injury prone. He hasn't really done too much. I'm gonna take him out. You know what, T-Mac, grab that spot. Grab that spot real quick. Vince Carter, though, I did take out someone for your spot, and it is someone who I think, I'm telling you right now, if The Last Dance did not come out last year, we would not be hyping up this dude. Like, I don't understand. Like, now people are trying to act like this person was better than what he is. But what he is and what he's always been is a glorified Draymond Green. I'm talking about Dennis Rodman. There is no way you're telling me that man is top 75 because he was Draymond Green. Like, no. Take him out and get my boy Vinsanity in his rightful place among the 75 greatest players in the league. That is Vince's right. With all the highlights that he has given us, all the three-pointers he has made, all of the times he has been near the top of the scoring, the steals, he is a legend. All that he's given back. That's what this list is about. It's about legacy. It's about accomplishments. Vince, he's an NBA champion. He's done it all. Take out Dennis, this Ben Wallace, all right? You know what I'm saying? We get it. They're glue guys. They're glue guys. They're good. But Dennis Rodman, you're not telling, like, if you're a franchise owner and you need to start building no one's building their franchise around Dennis Rodman. They're not. They're just not. But you can build around VC. You can build around T-Mac. And that's all I got to say about that.
I'm not mad at Vince Carter. I do think Vince Carter should be on there. But, if you want to talk about this is about legacy, that just totally destroys Damian Lillard's entry on the top 75. Like, it's a fandom thing. You like Damian Lillard. I love Damian Lillard. People love Damian Lillard, and they just wanted to put him on the list. But he does not deserve to be on the list right now because he has no NBA legacy. All he got is a couple cool mixtapes, right? And a killer step back three that's clutch, right? But has it shown up in the playoffs to get the Blazers down?
Hasn't shown up in the playoffs. Have you watched the last 2 years?
Finished listening to my sentence? I said to get the Blazers on a run. No, listen, when they couldn't even win a game, when they played against the Golden State Warriors, who were injured, right? The injured Golden State Warriors that they played in the playoffs. They couldn't even get a game on those Golden State Warriors.
And what kind of, oh my God, CJ McCollum stepping out of bounds every play.
We talking about Damian Lillard, right? We talking about Damian Lillard.
Yes.
We're not talking about CJ McCollum. We're talking about Dame time. This is your time.
He does everything he can. He does everything we can.
All I know is
we no longer live in a league. We no longer live in a league where one great player can win by themselves.
That's okay. But you don't have to. I'm not saying winning, right? But one great player can elevate their team in a series, right? It's happened. We've seen that time and time.
Have you seen
in a series? No, I don't make me bring up LeBron, because when LeBron was out there without Kyrie or Kevin Love, right? They still won games. They didn't win when they played a team that was just better.
You're acting like Damian Lillard gets swept every year. He does not get swept.
No, but he doesn't. He hasn't done anything. When we're talking about resumes, right? Dwight Howard, 14 consecutive seasons with double doubles. 14 consecutive seasons, right? 5-time rebounding champ, 5-time all defensive player, 8-time all-star, 2-time block champion, right? The rookie of the year in 2004, 3-time defensive player of the year. Like, this is a resume that deserves to be respected amongst the top 75 players who have played in the game, because you cannot name another player who has had 14 consecutive seasons averaging a double-double. Like, I would have to look up if Magic Johnson did it from a points to assist ratio, right? But I don't think so.
I feel like every center has done that.
No.
Like Shaq Diesel, you're going to tell me Shaq did not do that?
Go look at it. Shaq did not average 14 consecutive double-doubles.
Now you're making me go through Google.
He averaged
I feel like any big man can do that.
13 consecutive double-doubles for Shaq, not 14. Now, I'm not saying Dwight deserves to be in the same conversation as Shaq, right? But that doesn't mean Dwight Howard doesn't deserve to be in the top 75 over Anthony Davis and over Damian Lillard. So he should at least be number 73, right?
Nah, he's not. He's number 78. He's behind T-Mac.
Yeah. No. And like T-Mac, again, if you're going to take Penny Hardaway off the list, T-Mac. I think T-Mac was an elite scorer, right? Great talent, but like, you're not on the list just because you were nice, right? We are talking about, how did your career go, right? What did you do in your career? Who has the record for most three-pointers made in a game? Your boy Klay Thompson does, right? This is a historical accomplishment, right? You deserve that is something that Dame Lillard has never done, right? I think Dame Lillard is a better talent than Klay Thompson. But if you're looking at the NBA accomplishments, these are two names that should not be off the list, right? But you know what? You actually got me to buy in on Vince Carter over Klay Thompson. Because Vince had the longevity. You know, Vince was playing, man. He was playing. He changed the game. You know, he actually was the last entertaining. Well, not the last entertaining, but the dunk contest. You'll never see a better one, right? Definitely. But obviously, you don't make the top 75 for having an elite dunk contest, right? You know what, Wudi, man? My blood pressure is boiling, man. Okay, so we gotta go back to the sidelines real quick, right? We gotta go back.
Wait. I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry, man. I apologize. Because I'm getting riled up. The season, we have the whole season to get our blood pressure up, yell at each other. But right now, we're just in the beginning of the season. So I just want to share, some starts, right? Some nice starts that I've seen. They don't even have to be nice starts, right? But I just want to shout out two different teams, both in the Eastern Conference, which I think is on the rise. I think the Eastern Conference is on the rise. First team, clearly, everyone knows my biography, right? Knicks, Jets, Mets. It's horrible. But there is hope in the Big Apple. I'm telling you, go New York, go New York, go. I mean, I'm not saying we want Brooklyn, but I'm telling you that this team has improved from last year. It's a different team. And their biggest issue last year, when Julius Randle was looking like a bum and yet still got that extension, the team could not generate any offense. It was like it was pretty much Derrick Rose by himself, and they couldn't shoot. So what do? You get Evan Fournier, who is a great shooter. Now, everyone's like, oh, that's all he can do, right? He's a spot-up shooter, right? You get Kemba, who clearly is not just a spot-up shooter. He is someone who can create off the dribble, right? But I think playing, or getting this guy after the Olympics helped, because Damian Lillard, literally, he called these guys out. He said none of these international dudes play in the NBA the way that they play in the Olympics. And we saw Evan Fournier, out here balling. We saw Patty Mills balling. We saw Ricky Rubio was looking like, I don't even know. He was literally so good that he was looking like a player we've never seen like in the NBA before in the Olympics. But Evan Fournier said, oh, what? Okay, Dame, you're going to put some respect on my name. Drops 32. That is in the 75-year history of the New York Knicks, a franchise record and a Knicks debut. 32 for Evan Fournier. The man is shooting. The whole team is shooting. And what I love about RJ's been in the league for a couple of years now. People say, oh, he is what he is. The man is 21. He's 21. This was the first season where after a game, he could go and buy a beer. Okay, he is a baby. He's a baby. I think Thibodeau changed his diaper in between on a timeout. This guy, he still has so much more to give. Okay, he has so much more to learn. And even Julius Randle is only 20. They're a young team. Like the stars that they had got better. Special shout out to Obi Toppin, who's playing with confidence. That man runs the floor like no other. Oh my gosh, just putting people on posters. He's so fun to play with in 2K. I'm telling you, the guys that they had are playing better, and then they also got better complementary pieces in Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker. Shout out to the Knicks, but a team that's way better than them and better than everybody right now. Oh my God, it is their first 4-0 start since his airness. The greatest to ever do it was on that team. The Bulls, man. Woo-wee! The Bulls, man. They are out here just balling. And I got to give a special shout out to DeMar DeRozan. I feel like more people got to give this man respect. This is someone who took pride. He took pride in being in Toronto. No one wants to be in Toronto. It's in Canada. Ugh, Canada. It snows there. Ugh. But he took pride there. He gave back to the community. He spoke to the GM. He said, "Hey man, I'm in some trade rumors. Just be straight with me. Like, am I going to be traded? You traded? Nah. Don't worry, DeMar. You all good. He's like, all right. Goes home. Traded to the San Antonio Spurs. Just thrown out like garbage. And what happens? The guy that he's traded for becomes the NBA Finals MVP, and that team wins without him. And what does DeMar look like? He just looks like garbage, right? And the Spurs aren't great, right? So everyone's discarding him. No one cares about him. So now he's a free agent, right? And he goes on record. He's like, you know what? I'm trying to win. So everyone's like, oh, DeMar DeRozan, all right, he's trying to win. He must be going to LA. Within like that same day, he signs with the Bulls. Everyone's like, oh, DeMar DeRozan. He's
until the Lakers acquired Russell Westbrook. Like once they made the move, then he was like, all right, now I'm gonna do this. So I was letting you have your fun, but let's keep it. Let's not overdo it. Okay,
we oversee. He was holding out, disrespecting DeMar.
I'm not disrespecting DeMar. DeMar wanted to go to LA. He waited until he knew it wasn't going to be possible. But kudos to him for going to Chicago because he didn't have to do that.
Well, I'm telling you right now, every single one of those players are all players that are talented in this league, that they've been playing well on bad teams, and they have a chip. They have chips on their shoulders, man. They have every single one of them. Now, let me not say all of them are in that boat, but DeMar DeRozan is a really, really good player. He's a great player that's been on a bad team. Vucevic is a great player that's been on a bad team. Zach LaVine, the man gets better every year, and he's still having to shed that, dunker label. But hopefully this is a year finally where they realize he's actually a complete player. And he has a chip on his shoulder. And Lonzo, who has not been a great player on a bad team, just a decent player, but has been discarded after people were calling him the next Jason Kidd. Now, no one even cares. They only care about his kid brother, LaMelo. So now Lonzo has a chip. These guys are chippy guys. They are just doing whatever they can on both ends of the floor. They are a team to look out for. Those Bulls, man. You want to talk about notable starts? The notables out here just doing their thing.
Oh, well played. I'm got a couple notable starts for you, right? And both teams that you named are definitely off to a great start. So I'm not even going to add any content to what you said because you pretty much nailed it with both franchises, right? But the Golden State Warriors are back. And Clay hasn't even stepped onto the court yet. This man, Steph Curry, is averaging 31, 9, and 7, right? Steph is on fire. He's leading those guys, and they are back, man. And what's great about it is these young pieces who weren't really a factor. You're talking about, Jordan Poole out there in previous seasons, and now they have their comfort, They've got young talent. They've got Jonathan Wiseman and Jonathan Kuminga, right? Who these guys are talented and they're not even hitting their stride yet. And the Warriors are off to a 4-0 start. It was looking like they almost lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder, but they pulled it out and they won the game, right? Now, outside of the Warriors, I want to talk about a notable start for a particular player, right? And yeah, you know what, everybody, you can call it emotional if you want to, because I had a gripe with this player being on the top 75 list. But let's talk about the stink that Damian Lillard is putting out there right now. We went through a whole offseason of, man, the Blazers ain't doing them right. They need to trade them. Like you kind of put it out there yourself that, like, you was subliminally tweeting and everything. Dame, I expect that, you stuck, man. You stuck loyal. You didn't actually go through with a trade request, but you let the conversation stay, right? And then the narrative is, man, look, if Dame not happy, man, he going to have to get traded. Should they trade him for Ben Simmons? I mean, you and Ben Simmons don't even belong in the same conversation because you way better than Ben Simmons, right? But you would think that you would come out this year, Dame, and really kill it. But you are killing it the opposite way that we're used to. I mean, Dame, you're a few games into the season, right? This man is shooting less than 10% from three. Dame is 2 out of 24 from beyond the arc, right? Dame, what are you doing? I didn't expect this bad of a start, right? So this is a bad start. Yeah, you got some time to get it, the Lakers, they didn't start off hot. We kind of expected that because they got a gel, right? Dame, you are playing with, all right, we know that you want some teammates. Like you want an elite player to play with you. I mean, you deserve it, right? I watched Allen Iverson go his whole career without another elite player. I don't want to see that happen to you, right? But CJ McCollum playing better than you this year, and everybody disrespects CJ McCollum. Yeah, I said it, man. I mean, if you look at the numbers, Dame is stinking it up, man. Dame time is no time. Like, Dame time is off. Dame is shooting less than 10% from three. This is atrocious. Meanwhile, CJ out there averaging 27, right? And CJ is shooting a good 49% from three. Now, the Portland Trailblazers are not going to be a team that you expect to make a deep playoff run, which again, they have one of the 75 best players in the NBA, according to the recent list that was just made. And even if the Blazers don't, even if they finish with like an 8th seed or something, it's, oh man, Dame don't got no help. Dame don't got no help. Well, there's plenty of players on that top 75 list who have like put the team on their back, right? And carried them places, whether it resulted in the championship or not. But my most surprising start to the season is that Dame Lillard did not start off hot. He is ice cold, right?
You're still going. All right. I gotta cut you off. You're still going in on Damian Lillard for no reason.
What do you mean no reason?
Because you're mad.
The man is 2 for 24 from three.
You're mad.
I don't know. Like this is a surprise start. Like you would like. All right, look at LeBron. Everybody's saying. Listen,
can you speak about the sport without talking about the flop? Just one time. One time. Are you capable?
Everybody is talking about the Lakers don't have a 3-point shooter. Well, so far, LeBron James has been the one who has been stretching the floor. Like if you look at his numbers, LeBron has took on the role of the 3-point shooter for the team. LeBron himself is shooting almost 10 threes a game, and he's making 48% of them, right?
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that's
look,
so
he's taking on a different role, right? But this is a year where this is what you expect from great players. They're going to come out at the beginning of the season, right? And they're going to get it going right away. Like right away, they're going to get it going.
With the richest roster in the NBA. Stop talking to me about LeBron James. No one cares about what LeBron.
That roster is flawed. Okay,
roster flawed. How many top 75 players are on that roster? How many?
Okay, but look where they are in their career. Okay,
and you're talking about, and you want to add another
one of them shouldn't even be on the list. Right,
Dwight Howard is on that team, right? That should be another. He's number 73. So
Dwight Howard is a reserve big man now, right? That's changing the narrative. That's changing the narrative. No, Dwight Howard is a reserve big man right now.
He's a
reserve big man.
That is the all NBA 75 team. That's the all NBA.
Did he make the list?
You can make a starting 5.
Did he make
from that team?
He's not even starting over DeAndre Jordan.
Who's that? Wait, say that one more time.
He's not even starting over DeAndre Jordan.
But he's on the team. He is on the team.
He's on the team, and he's how old is he? He's not the same Dwight Howard. So
Damian Lillard is playing with who? He's playing with CJ.
Anybody is willing to be unbiased, whether you're biased for or against the Lakers have a flawed roster, right? Russell Westbrook does not fit out there with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. But you know what? They brought him in. It is what it is. Russell Westbrook is not the player who fits with them, right? They've got the oldest roster in the league. They've got like 3 guys who are under the age of 80. So, like, that is a flawed roster. But LeBron James, here's all this talk, comes out with expanded shooting, right? So when you talk about notable starts, but that's not a surprise because that's what I'm saying. I'm surprised that Dame Lillard, because usually he come out each season cooking. You know, Dame might drop 40 in his first couple games, right? But right now, Dame Lillard is missing. Dame Lillard.
He's man. Oh my God. He just came back from the Olympics, Olympic gold medalist. All right. He's going to be fine. He's going to be
Is Kevin Durant using that excuse?
Is Kevin Durant using that?
Is Kevin Durant using it? No,
first of all,
like, because Dame wasn't the only one out there, right? Is Kevin Durant using that excuse?
All right, and he's playing with all. Yo, stop this! Stop this!
Bradley Beal
bums his entire career. He's had to take bums to the playoffs and do his best to even win a series. He has to give his heart, his sweat, his tears to just win a series with these bums. And you're going to compare him to KD, who has had the greatest list of teammates in the history of basketball. Get out of here. Get out of here. Dude, stop it. You know what?
That Dame. No. You do know that Dame Lillard didn't have to carry an Olympic team the way Luka Doncic had to carry an Olympic team. And did Luka come out at the beginning of the season, you know, looking as bad as Dame does right 22.
Now? That's young legs right there, all right?
Man,
Dame's been there, done that for a decade.
Making all these excuses.
What do you mean excuses? I'm saying
making
facts.
all these excuses.
I'm saying facts.
These is excuses.
There's something called context. And that's what I'm giving you context for what you're seeing.
Excuses, man.
Oh my God.
File it in the excuse cabinet. Because everything you're saying about Dame revolves around other people being the reason why he is not hitting more of his 24 3-pointers that he's taking. Like, he is off, man. It's awful. It's awful to start the season. And all I'm saying is this is a surprise. I'm not saying that he's trash. I'm not saying that he ain't never going to get it going. I'm saying that if I want to talk about a surprise start to the season, it is the absence of Damian Lillard's greatness. That is a surprise. And there's no dispute in that. Like, he has been garbage for the first few games of the season. He's been garbage. He's been trash.
Now you just went ahead and said the G word.
Because if you look at his games, he's been bad for the first few games of the year. I mean, he's shooting the lows 36%. He's looking like Russell Westbrook without the triple doubles. Like, that's what he's looking like right now.
My gosh, I can't even. No, I can't. I literally can't, because I will faint on air right now if I keep this conversation. We have to take it back to the sideline. We're taking it back to the sideline,
man. You know what? Right. I want you to sit down, but let's talk about who people should be starting and sitting in fantasy football right now. I'm going to give you a name of a player that you should sit. Okay. I think it's done for this guy, man, unless he gets on a good team with an elite quarterback. But this is not the guy anymore that you should be trusting as a W1, WR1, WR2, or even a flex. I'm going to say,
sounds like
your boy. Guy. Who?
No, it sounds like the guy that I was going to say.
Yeah. It is time to sit Odell Beckham Jr. down on your bench. The Cleveland Browns. They're starting Case Keenum right now, but even if they had Baker Mayfield, Odell, he's rarely targeted in their offense. He hasn't had a game where he hasn't even scored a touchdown this year. I mean, if you look at his week-to-week production, it is weak. And at this point, you're only starting Odell if you have to, because he's a bye-week replacement. But if you got somebody else on your bench, I would even start Laviska Shenault over Odell Beckham Jr. So it's time to bench OBJ. Sit him on down.
Definitely time to. I honestly don't think there was a time to start him this year. I do have him on my bench, where he's just been collecting dust. So yeah, I don't think there was ever a time to start him. I'm actually really mad that I drafted him, but like I was like, oh, he fell. Like I got him in like the 7th round, so I thought maybe I would get a good return for the value there, but I did not. The worst return for my value that I've gotten across any of my teams in fantasy was this person I'm going to tell you to finally sit down. And this person I think is a wash unless they go on a team with a better quarterback. I don't think that's happening this year. So literally, I'm thinking, I feel like you can't drop him because of his name. You can't drop him. But like no one wants to trade for him. So I don't even know what to do. But I'm not starting him this week. This is my first week with him on the bench. His name is Allen Robinson.
Oh yeah,
You
definitely. That's a good sit him. Like you should have sat him a couple weeks ago and left him there because
But he's
his
been doing this
adjustment to
big
the
board. Like
offense.
if you go through the QBs that he's played with, you I thought he was invincible.
No, yeah, it's different. Listen, I'm telling you, man, Justin Fields, I noticed this in Ohio State. He is good, but that offense, man, is just a one read offense, and he's not ready to play quarterback. Like, he's a smart guy. He'll get it. He absolutely will, right? But it's too soon, and it gets worse and worse every week, and it's killing everybody around him, right? And except for the running back, um, which leads me to my stardom. Actually, you know what? I was toggling between two players, two different running backs, but one of them is Khalil Herbert, right?
I
Khalil Herbert,
also
it
have
doesn't
two
matter.
running backs, and one of them is
It,
Khalil Herbert. So if
it,
you have the
Khalil
second one,
Herbert, you
I'll be
got to
pretty
start
upset.
him, right? But my other one is going to be a surprise to everyone because I've been saying stay away from this offense and their running backs, right? But right now, I'm going to say Kenneth Gainwell, you should start him, right? No, Nick Sirianni ain't going to hand him the ball. But if you are in a PPR league, he is targeted more than most of their wide receivers. You know, he's got a few weeks with at least 8 targets. And now that's as a reserve running back. You know, Nick Sirianni's playbook is pretty basic, but that boy is going to pass to that running back that he loves Kenneth Gainwell. So if you're looking for somebody to maybe add a spark to your week, they are playing those Detroit Lions. I don't know why I tried to make them hype like the Pistons, but that don't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work at all. The Detroit, the trash Lions, you know. Yeah, so Kenneth Gainwell, I'm actually going to put him on a starting list with Miles Sanders. I'm likely out.
I was so nervous because you said two running backs, Khalil Herbert. I was like, oh god, are we? I'm gonna have to pull one out of thin air, but luckily you didn't say it. Kenneth Gainwell. I just want to say, when I drafted Miles Sanders, one of my friends texted me and he goes, "Oh, good luck, with Miles Sanders, with Kenneth Gainwell actually taking his job, week 6." I was like, "What? What are you talking about? Like Miles Sanders is a stud." That obviously did not come to fruition. So I've had Gainwell on my bench, but week 6 came around, and Gainwell, they just weren't running the ball at all. So I dropped them.
They ain't been running the ball for 6 weeks, so
now, he's now Miles, right? That's actually happened multiple times where I drop someone, right? Like a handcuff, and then the starter finally gets hurt. So I refuse to drop AJ Dillon. I cannot drop AJ Dillon because if that happens again, that's happened to me 4 times this year so far. So I'm not going to do it. But this person, much like Gainwell, is now I feel like finding a groove in the passing game, and I think with the starting QB out, what we saw very consistently with the backup QB is that he was looking for his check now. He was looking. I want to say he had 1 reception, and then when the QB got hurt, he had 5. Like in the next, like the next drive. And that's Michael Carter, the New York Jets. PPR option for sure. He's also their goal line back though. So I mean, I know Ty Johnson scored the touchdown this past game, but every other goal line touchdown that the Jets have scored, which I believe for the year is just one, was actually Michael Carter. So I would feel really confident in Michael Carter. I think they trust him a little bit more. Like they actually throw screens to him because he's a little bit more elusive than Ty Johnson. I actually think Tevin Coleman would be, the most elusive of the three, but for some reason they give him no burn. But Michael Carter, I would definitely say start him this week. I know you're probably the same, but the Jets suck. The Jets stink. They do. They're probably not going to win any games, but that doesn't mean that, they're not going to get yards. And I'm not saying 500 yards, but they might get 200 yards. Sorry. They might get 130 yards and 70 of those to Michael Carter on like 7 catches. So he's definitely a good PPR option.
Well, one of the reasons why I agree with your Michael Carter pick is because he is a running back who can catch the ball out of the backfield. Michael Carter, at UNC, he's one of my favorite running backs to watch in college in a long time. I love his game. I love his big playability, and I don't think this like rookie year for the Jets is really going to define his career. He's definitely going to be a good running back. That's somebody that I speak of very highly. So right now, he is going to be targeted in that offense. He seems to pick up a little bit more and more each week. I would say he's a safe start. If you're looking for a bye week replacement, definitely Michael Carter should be somebody that you would put in there. But I do just want to say to Tevin Coleman's point, you said they don't seem to be giving him any burn. That's because he burns out, and you can't. Tevin Coleman, his better days are behind him. His career never really went where it could have gone because of the injury bug. And he does fatigue when they seem to hand him the ball too much. But he was another one of my favorite running backs to come out of college. If I made my top 10 list, Tevin Coleman, Michael Carter are two guys who would be on like my top 10 all-time favorite college running backs. Like, some of these names you wouldn't believe on there, but we could leave that for another show. But yes, those are the stardoms and situms. Well, we are going to wrap this show up because it's time for your boys to sit down and go to sleep. And, I don't know about Dame time, but it's nighttime. And, hey, enjoy this week of football. We got some great games on the deck, and we look forward to talking about it next week. But follow us on social media, hit us up, and it's your boys Will and Wudi. We out.